it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island, hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
What a morning. Piscopo in the morning. It's 9:05 on AM 970. The Answer. Well, it's not your regular. This is not your daddy's normal radio show. Frankie Fibro's is in the house. Albert's here. Frankie, thanks for
any cat questions anymore.
No. But it was so cute. And Frank Morano, let me tell you, Frankie works very hard to produce this show and brings some great guests to the show. And then you will give me these great questions. So Joe, you might want to ask this, and I appreciate that more. I can tell you the humility that Mr. Morano showed. But he stepped out of the studio when Carol was here, when Arthur was here. He's producing the whole show. David, he steps out. I thought that was great, Frankie. But then that's right, Frankie Fibro.
See, I've been waiting my whole life to get applause on the show. All I had to do was leave. I had to get applauded.
But he interviewed her for his show for Sunday.
But
I got another cat
he did
question.
accost Miss Alt on the way out about cats. That was a little scary, but that was okay. But she gave you some good advice.
Absolutely. I'm
what a smart, magnificent girl.
Absolutely.
What
woman?
I mean,
woman.
Look, I'm old. I'm gonna take out.
She's a woman.
David Burke in the house with magnificent cuisine. David, welcome back. You can't go anywhere now. You got to stay here by popular demand.
I have a number of cat questions for you as well.
We have so many David Burke stories. The island story is now legendary. How to meet a nice girl. Just pretend you're picking out and buying islands on a plane, which is great. And so, listen, before I don't want to let this go. Yeah. You're offering like a Mother's Day kind of deal to listeners.
I want to give the listeners a little homework.
Oh, all right. Okay.
And the homework is how to make ricotta cheese, which is so simple, it's crazy. So we're going to post a recipe.
You know how to make it, Arthur?
I made these 4 cheeses yesterday.
I know you got to do something with milk.
You boil heavy cream.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. So
you boil. Let's say you take a quart of milk.
Okay.
You bring it up to like baby temp, a little hot, 200 lemon juice, salt.
Yeah.
Strain it. They use cheesecloth. You just use a paper towel.
Look at
and you got this is 2 quarts.
Wow.
It makes a quart will make a pound of fresh cheese, less than 20 hours. Now, the idea here is go on my website, chefdavidburke.com, or your website.
Yeah.
You're going to have the basic recipe. Whoever comes now, I put rose petals in one, herbs in the other, pistachio in one, and truffles.
You made this homemade.
I want someone to make it for the mother for Mother's Day. I want the recipe. I want the ideas next week.
Okay.
Whoever the best idea I think is,
okay,
I'll buy them dinner on Mother's Day with their mother.
Wow. Yep. You're going to buy Mother's Day dinner at Drift House?
Yeah.
Down the shore. Yep. This is great. So I'm holding in my hand too. If you're listening, there's like 4
cheeses. They're fresh ricotta,
but they're in the netting.
They're in the cheesecloth.
Look at this cheesecloth.
That could be a paper towel if you don't want to. If you don't have cheesecloth, you do a triple line paper.
What is this? What is this? Pumpernickel? Something? Is this a regular bread?
That's pretzel bread because it's pretzel baked Thursday, so we're talking about pretzel. But toast points, so you can try here. Try one.
You made this. Yeah. Give me the regular, if you would. This is beautiful. Look at this.
David, what's with the rose petals?
Here, try it. The rose petals because roses are for your mother.
God,
there you go.
This is great.
Oh, it tastes like rose water.
So, David, the listeners have to come up with their own regard.
They're going to use the basic recipe of mine,
and they just send it in.
I'm looking for the ideas of what they would put in it to surprise their mother. Wow. It could be olives. It could be peppers.
If it was Father's Day, I'd put in a little gabuchel.
It could be bourbon. Could be
Arthur, how great is that cheese?
The rose petal one.
Oh my gosh, that is spectacular.
Could be gold leaf. Could be.
When did you make this? When did you make it? Like last night?
Made at 2:00 in the afternoon yesterday.
Now, is that milk or heavy creamy?
Heavy cream is creamy, fatter. You can use milk.
You can't
half and half.
Can't use skim milk, right?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question, but why would you?
Yeah. Well, because it's me. And then did you bring who? Did Shelley Goldberg? Thank you very much. So Shelley brings us all great things to the show. Shelley brought in David Burke, her buddy, and she bought these pretzels. It's not, what is it, National Pretzel Day?
Thursday.
So we got the gigantic pretzels on a plate.
Very New York. Well, actually very German, but New York.
Beer. Need beer with that.
There you go. Parmesan pretzel?
Cinnamon Parmesan, the street salted ones. And you know why they're shaped like this?
Why was that?
The monks used to pray like this.
No, is that right? They used to cross their arms and hold. And so this is like indicating a monk's crossing their arms in the pretzel.
Yes, very religious. And then it turned into they gave pretzels to children when they learned their prayers.
It's just like
That's the history of it. Yeah. Basically how it started. Now there's all kinds of other stuff with regards to shapes and and things like that. And then to be a master baker in Germany, you had to make a perfect
You know,
pretzel
pretzels.
certification.
I'm a health nut. Pretzels are not bad for you.
Right.
They're not bad. They're not fattening. They're not bad. That pretzel bread you just had is great.
Yeah.
And tell me, but before, let me go back to the ricotta cheese that you could make it now. And Frankie, tell me again, if someone comes up with a recipe,
pistachios in it.
it's a
A Mother's Day recipe.
Yeah.
So they can either email us through our website, through the AM970 The Answer smartphone app, or they can just go to David's website, which is chefdavidburke.com. And whoever comes up with a recipe that they add to the menu, this is quite a claim to fame. If you could get your ricotta recipe added to Tavern
they can
62.
intrigue me into thinking it's going to work and be delicious, and also why their mother would like that.
You know, so that's good. And then they'll have a Mother's Day dinner at the Drift House
down at Seabright.
I love it. Which Al and I are going. We got to get. We're always in Jersey. We got to go to Jersey and Tavern 62.
And Tavern 62 is open for Mother's Day as well.
Exactly.
But, you know, you got to make reservations.
BLT Prime in Washington D.C. The man's on fire, and you're going all over. I hear you. You got every state.
I was in Saratoga this weekend at the Adelphi Hotel, which I'm rebranding with them, and.
Are you involved with the Adelphi?
Yeah.
Wow, Joe, do you know the Adelphi Hotel in Saratoga? It's the oldest
Yeah.
hotel.
They
It's been
renovated
closed for,
it.
5 years
It's
or something?
opened a huge renovation. It's probably the most beautiful hotel outside of New York City. One of the best I've seen in the
gorgeous.
country. It's incredible town.
How do you find these things,
You know?
David Burke? How do you
Well,
find
you know,
these
just
people
through-
come to you
yeah,
and say,
people come.
And they say, we want to open one of your properties there?
Well, could you come in? Would you be interested in co-branding with us and helping in our culinary development?
Wow, man. And everybody in D.C. tells me about BLT Prime, by the way. Everybody. They go, I've been there.
A lot of hard work, great property, number one.
Yeah.
And a great company, BLT, and I joined forces there. BLT, a great company here in New York City, based in New York. E2 Hospitality. And you know, it was challenging, to say the least, to get it open because we opened with the hotel. But things are really good.
So how do you do that when you're opening a hotel? You worry most about food, you would think, but you can't. It's architecture.
Well, we don't. You know, the hotel was already pre-designed. We came in a little late to the game, but the hotel has its own staff and kitchen and chef, and they run a great organization, the Trump organization, in that hotel. Okay. We're a tenant in that hotel.
Yeah. But do you just architectural diet when you're not picking out islands? You figure the design.
I don't fly to D.C., so I'm on a train. The train doesn't work with
You're gonna look at
cabins. There's no red eye.
What is this?
What is this?
That's
I know that's bacon, but
it
what
looks
is this?
like there's a
pretzel and pretzel bread, bacon, and grilled cheese.
Wow.
I know it's very rustic, but I got to tell you.
Let me see that, Al, if I may. Thank you, sir. Look at this. I'm holding it. It's like a
Gruyere.
Then what kind of bread is this? This is like a
That's
panini,
a pretzel.
almost like.
That's a pretzel bread.
It's a
though.
pretzel bread.
That's why it got so dark, because it's dark as usual.
Yeah.
But take a bite of that.
But I love everything burned. What's my problem? I love everything with a little charred. Is that okay?
Caramelization, you like sugar.
Yeah, is that
anything? You know, even meats. Well done meat is sweeter because the protein's caramelized.
Yeah.
People don't realize that when you get a ham or the turkey skin or chicken or the roast beef on the end, you know, when you pick it when it's sitting on the table, that's like candy because the sugar is caramelized. The red meat isn't. The rare part doesn't taste as good because it hasn't caramelized.
So this is grilled cheese. Is this bacon right here?
Yeah, I threw the bacon in because it's been 3 weeks since I brought bacon.
Take the bacon. I'm going to take
suffering from withdrawal.
I'm going to take the bacon.
You're going to love that.
And another creative idea based on the challenge of thinking about pretzels. I made pretzel dumplings in a broth to replace matzo ball.
Wait, so how did you possibly do that now?
Well, I got Carmine DiGiovanni, my co-chef, with me. I asked, you know what? Know what's good about my job now? I can ask people, try this, and he comes up and it's great. So we tried three versions yesterday.
Frankie, look at this. I'm looking.
But it's better than a matzo ball because pretzels have more flavor than matzo. So you're starting with something better.
I'm looking.
But it's not kosher.
Is it kosher? Probably not.
I don't know.
No, it's yeast.
Call the rabbi. We'll check it out. Call my rabbi.
Well, pretzel sticks don't have any yeast.
Rabbi
The pretzel
Herson.
sticks are outrageous. What do you flavor these with?
Those are probably MSG and all kinds of good
Oh
stuff.
my God.
Those
Delicious. There's these really thin pretzel sticks he made.
This sandwich.
And
This is
they're
unbelievable.
really,
those
really
are from,
delicious.
I believe
You
they're
gotta
from Japan.
Frankie, you got to try this.
I'm going.
I want to try that.
Here.
Try
That
this.
looks good.
I've
This
tried
is
all
like-
4 of these.
It's a long pretzel bread, and it's got
And
not
that
only
comes
cheese.
from-
What kind of cheese? Swiss,
It's Gruyere cheese. No, I'm sorry, it's cheddar.
cheddar cheese.
Now that
with
bread comes from Hudson Bakery, right on Route 9.
Yeah,
there in Weehawken.
right. Look at that, man.
Yep.
And then you got a slab of bacon in the middle of it all.
That's why I want to try a piece.
Here you go,
because
buddy.
it's got the
You gotta
bacon.
Bring
take
it
a
over
stick.
here.
And the pretzels are good.
There? I'm going to cut a piece so you can have it, Frank.
Verano.
Ah, beautiful.
I mean, we really got bones over here.
Breakfast of champions.
Look at this. David, so I was down your neck of the woods, and I always bring this up every time I come on because I'll go down, with my little daughter, Charlie, and I told her. So and again, walk us through what flips me out, David Burke, is that you ended up in France somewhere, and you're a Jersey guy from Haslam.
It wasn't easy.
But it was close, wasn't it? It was like out of high school, and then you went.
I went to Norway. Out of high school. I'll tell you that story. My dad was like, "What exit?"
Yeah. Down in Gloucester County. I know
I said, I'm going to Norway after college.
But walk me through that again. Someone came to you and said...
I was a really good student up to Culinary Institute. Actually, I'm making a speech at NJ Biz today at 2 o'clock. That's why
That's a great organization.
Yeah.
Great organization, yeah.
So I'm going to walk through that.
Yeah.
I went to Norway, worked there for 4 months after school, took a 4-week pass, went all through Europe, came back to Europe, but I had the confidence after that to move to France.
Wow.
To work for free to learn without speaking French.
Man.
So it took a little Hazlitt in me.
But you went to the Culinary Institute
of America, in New York State.
Right. Fabulous. And that's
great school.
Yeah. And then, but to take it, what kills me, when you just do a restaurant, you can't just do the food. You always think a chef is just going to do the food. Again, like I'm talking about, you got to do the architectural design.
Well, I don't have to, but I tend to get involved in the design if they need me to. If I'm opening it from start to finish, I'll do it because I'm pretty good at it, and I've been doing it for a while. Sometimes hotels want your input. Sometimes, and they usually ask now because we've been around for a while.
Yeah.
And we sometimes you get a kitchen designer designs a kitchen, he doesn't work in the kitchen, he doesn't really know the ebbs and flows of how it's, a NASCAR driver should be.
But do you pick out do you work at the flatware, all that stuff?
We pick all that out, all the china. With chefs. I do that as chef.
You do that.
Well, I also wear owner's hat too, so it's not just chefing.
Yeah.
So and it's.
Tell me, what are you doing down in Florida? What's the name of the place down in Florida? This famous restaurant, famous hotel that was closed. In Saratoga.
No, this is Saratoga, New York.
Oh, it's up in New York. You're right.
New York.
I thought that Florida was.
Well, not Sarasota.
Yeah, I got it.
3 hours up.
The Adelphi.
Yeah.
Been around since 1877.
That's what you were talking about early on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and there's Salt and Char's, the steakhouse next door.
I have to ask you, the pretzel matzo ball thing, which is outrageously mind-blowing. Yeah. What's the broth all about?
Oh, the broth is chicken. It's got mustard in it and cabbage.
You see how he talks? When he talks about the food, it's like Carol Lowell.
Have you been there?
There's like a passion. There's a sultriness. It's got chicken. It's got broth. That's why I get the whole architectural digest.
Well, the joking is over when it comes to the broth.
When you talk about matzo ball broth, man,
you guys got to go with me to Terrence 62 because you got to go sit. We went there. Shelley was there, and we went and had the best meal. Yeah. And then David will walk you through everything, and not to mention bring different. And what was the meat I had at Tavern 62, which was
great? You had the dry aged, 40-day dry aged, patented, salt aged, Kansas City steak with just sirloin on the bone. There's a sirloin off the bone. You get rid of. There's all these traditional names for, there's a New York strip, Kansas City.
It was great.
But the beef is fantastic. And I hired a guy for. Upstate, he came and cooked yesterday. He came in a suit for an interview. And usually we get him to cook for us, 6, 8 dishes. They prep all day. And I said, what are you doing today? He says, well, I'm going to drive back. I said, make me lunch. He made me 4 or 5 dishes in his suit. Fantastic. So
really?
We made him an offer today. Yeah.
Really?
Burnt his shirt.
What do you make? What do you make?
He did a crude ceviche-style raw dish. He did something with scallops. He did something with beef. And what was the other dish?
And you found this?
He did octopus. Fantastic. He did it all in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Unscripted, on the spot like a TV show.
Where'd you find it? Where'd you find this guy?
Oh, through another friend. When you put the word out that you're looking.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find. The further away you get from the big cities, the talent pool dries up a little bit. So
when you go to Saratoga, you'll bring somebody from the city up there.
Oh, we've got people up there now.
Good. Yeah, look at you, man. Look at you, David Burke. I tell you, it's a pleasure to have you with us. This is the regatta, the homemade regatta. Send us the recipe, right? Of
the idea.
Go ahead.
The idea for the recipe, what the secret of passion passionate or what your mother would like ingredient that you'll surprise her for when she opens the fridge on Mother's Day and has a homemade cheese there waiting for her.
All right. And am970theanswer.com or Chef David.
Use the app or go to chefdavidburke.com.
Okay, great. And then you could have a possible Mother's Day dinner, courtesy of Mr. Burke himself, the chef, the super chef right there down at the Drift House in Seabright, New Jersey. David, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for taking the time. You know what? This is a lot of preparation, pal, and we appreciate that very much.
You know what? I learn stuff every week, too, because I do a little research on pretzels.
Yeah.
And a little research on this.
The only way we get Arthur here was to say Carol Alt was here. That's the only reason he showed up. You came because you're a dedicated chef, and and Shelley Goldberg.
She looks fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, how about that, man? And she'll be back, and you got to come back too. We'll talk to you next week or something.
Right,
and we'll see you at the restaurant. David Burke, right there. There's the man right there, and the cuisine like none other.
Everybody knows this guy. No, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.